Assalamu alaikum. Have you ever felt an inexplicable connection with someone? As if Allah wanted to show you something, but you didn't know what. What if this person wasn't in your life by chance? Maybe you cross his path again and again. Maybe your heart soothes at his touch, or on the contrary, something inside you screams to get away from him. But how do you know if it's a sign from Allah or just a simple feeling? In this video, we will decipher together the divine signs. May Allah place signs on your path that you should never ignore. Because yes, Allah speaks to you through your heart. You still have to know how to listen to Him. Stay well until the end, because these signs could transform the way you see this person, and maybe even change your destiny. 1. Doubt and prayer. When Allah speaks to your heart, there are moments when life confronts us with encounters that turn everything upside down. A person enters your existence and suddenly you no longer see things the same way. There is this presence, this energy, this impression that something greater is at work. But is it a path towards the light or a veil that separates you from the truth? Doubts set in, thoughts become confused, the heart wavers. Why do I feel this way about this person? Why does his existence seem to intertwine with mine, again and again? Why does each prayer subtly bring me back to his memory? Is this a sign that Allah wants you to pay attention to this person? Or is this a future test of your patience, your wisdom, your faith? This is where confusion becomes dangerous. Because if Allah sends you a message but you do not know how to listen to it, you risk walking on a path that is not intended for you. The pure in heart sense before the intellect understands. Before reason can even put the pieces together, your soul perceives what your mind refuses to admit. Allah speaks to sincere hearts, and He places within them truths that words cannot describe. But the question is, are you listening? There is a difference between feeling something and understanding what it means. Have you taken the time to ask the one who has all the answers? Prayer. The most direct, most powerful link between you and your Creator. Did you raise your hands to the sky and say, "O Allah, if this person is good for me, then enlighten me. But if he is an illusion, then keep me away from misguidance"? Too often we allow ourselves to be blinded by our own emotions. We want to see signs where there are only trials. We look for confirmations, clues, coincidences. But have we really asked Allah to place His light in our hearts? For a sign you did not ask for may be a trial, but a sign you receive after sincere prayer is an answer. And when they ask you about me, then I am near. I answer the call of the one who calls on me when he calls on me. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:186. Silence is never a coincidence. If your heart is agitated after a prayer, if a feeling pursues you for no reason, so ask yourself the real question. Is it your soul recognizing a truth, or your ego clinging to an illusion? But if Allah shows you a sign and you ignore it, who but Him can guide you? 2. Signs you should never ignore. What if Allah clearly shows you the answer you are looking for? What if instead of simple doubt or inner confusion, the signs were already there, right in front of you, but you haven't seen them yet? Make no mistake. Allah sends obvious signs, but it is up to you to recognize them. It's up to you to see them and understand what He is trying to tell you. Some signs are gentle and calming. Others are sharp as blades and remind you that your destiny is not in your hands. But there are 3 signs you should never ignore. First sign, your heart finds peace in His presence. Stop for a moment and think. When you are with this person, do you feel a deep tranquility? There are people who come into your life and disrupt it. They create chaos, doubts, tensions. Every conversation with them seems to take you away from yourself. But there are also souls who, without saying anything, soothe you. When you are with this person, your heart settles. There is no agitation, no stress, no fear. Only an inexplicable ease, a lightness that cannot be explained. What if this inner peace was a message from Allah? What is pure brings you peace, and what is impure troubles you. An agitated heart is a heart that has detected danger. A peaceful heart is a heart that has recognized a truth. Don't neglect what your soul feels. Second sign, this person brings you closer to Allah. There is an essential question to ask. Is this person pulling you towards Allah or pulling you away from Him? With her, do you feel more inspired to pray? Do you want to be a better person, a more sincere servant, or on the contrary? Does it push you to sin, to forgetting, to negligence? Allah's love manifests itself through those He places in your life. A person sent by Him lifts you up, pushes you to seek His light, reminds you of the importance of your faith. A person who pulls you into darkness was not sent to uplift you, but to test you. Remember one thing: a person who takes you away from Allah is not a blessing, it is an illusion. Third sign: Allah sends it to you in circumstances that only He could orchestrate. Have you ever wondered why this person came into your life at this specific time? Why now? Why not before, not after? An improbable encounter, a series of events that seem to align in an almost supernatural way. Perfect timing, a succession of coincidences that are not. Know one thing: chance does not exist in the decree of Allah. If you've come across this person in a way that seems scripted, there's a reason. Allah does nothing without wisdom. But there is an even more important question to ask. Is this a gift or a challenge? Don't be fooled. A sign can also be a test. Don't be naive. Not everything that comes into your life with intensity is necessarily a blessing. Sometimes Allah sends you someone not to stay, but to see if you will surely make the right choice. Is this a temptation or a lesson? Is it a light or a shadow disguised as light? You saw the signs, you felt what you learned to feel. But now the real question is, what are you going to do with it? 3. Allah's warning signs. Don't be wrong. We often talk about positive signs, those that guide us towards what is good for us. But what about warning signs? What if, instead of a path laid out by the wisdom of Allah, you were ignoring the barriers He places before you? There are times when Allah does not open a door for us, not because He deprives us of something, but because He saves us from what could destroy us. If you do not heed these warnings, you risk persevere in an illusion and get lost on a path that only leads to suffering. Make no mistake, some signs are not a blessing, but a test your discernment. Here is 3 warnings that Allah places on your path when this person is not right for you. First warning: your heart is filled with doubts and torments. There is a difference between natural fears of the unknown and a heart at war with itself. If this person brings you more confusion than clarity, if you feel inexplicable tension, persistent hesitation, if every time you pray for guidance your heart remains heavy, without peace, without serenity, ask yourself, why doesn't Allah shed light on this path? Allah never leaves His servants in doubt without reason. Sometimes the lack of a response is a response in itself. If your heart is a battlefield, if your thoughts become a labyrinth with no way out, maybe this is a sign that Allah is asking you to move away. Don't ignore deep discomfort just because you want this person to stay in your life. What is good for you, soothe your soul. Which is bad for you, the turmoil. Second warning: you compromise on your faith. It all starts with small adjustments, invisible concessions. You tell yourself that it's nothing. You convince yourself that you have control. You justify behaviors that in another context you would never have accepted. If this person takes you away from your Islamic principles, if it normalizes what is illicit, if she pushes you to disobey Allah, even subtly, so it's not a gift. It's a challenge. Nothing is worth losing your connection with Allah. No love, no friendship, no relationship deserves that you sacrificed your faith. And yet, this is often what happens. We cling to a person under the pretext that they are dear to us. But in reality, it keeps us away from the one who truly loves us. And the worst part of all this? It is because Allah shows you the signs. But do you listen to them? Third warning: Allah places repetitive obstacles in your path. Have you ever tried to force something that doesn't want to work? You insist. You try again and again. But every time, a wall stands in front of you. Each attempt fails. Discussions turn into arguments. Circumstances are becoming more and more complicated. And yet, you persevere. You tell yourself that it's a test, that you have to fight. But if in reality, was it Allah blocking you to protect you? Sometimes we are so attached to our own desire that we refuse to see that everything is collapsing around us for a specific reason. Allah does not need to speak to you directly. It shows you through the facts. If every time you try to build something with this person it falls apart, if you feel a heaviness that you can't explain, if the paths become harder instead of becoming clearer, this is no coincidence. Allah says in the Quran, "It may be that you hate something but it is good for you, and it may be that you love something but it is bad for you. Allah knows but you do not know." If everything you try with this person brings you back to a wall, this may be a sign that Allah doesn't want you to go any further. Don't close your eyes. Allah's warnings are not there to punish you. They are there to protect you. A love that tears you apart inside, a relationship that turns you away from your faith, a path that closes with each attempt. All this is not an accident. But the real question is this: are you going to listen to the signs that Allah sends you, or are you going to ignore them and rush towards what could harm you? 4. How to ask Allah for a clear answer. Doubts can eat away at the soul. You have felt the signs, but you are still hesitant. You don't know if this person is a blessing or a hardship. You oscillate between the desire to believe that it is a blessing and the fear of getting lost in an illusion. So what to do? The answer is simple. Don't try to figure it out for yourself. Ask the one who knows. Allah never leaves a sincere servant unanswered. But have you taken the time to ask him the question? There is a door that leads to clarity, a key that opens the path to certainty, a solution that too few people actually use with faith. The istikhara. The istikhara. Light in the darkness. When you find yourself facing a crossroads, Allah does not abandon you. He gave you a surefire way to get an answer directly from Him. The prayer of consultation, Salat al-Istikhara, is not a simple prayer. It is an intimate dialogue between you and your Creator. A supplication where you put your choice in His hands, where you ask Him to remove what could harm you, and to facilitate what is really meant for you. Don't let your emotions cloud the truth. Trust Allah to guide you. How to do istikhara and understand Allah's response. This prayer is simple, but it requires total sincerity. Purify your intention. Don't try to manipulate the answer. Be ready to accept what Allah has in store for you, even if it goes against what you want. Pray 2 units of prayer with concentration. Do it in a state of inner peace, away from distractions. Recite the istikhara invocation. O Allah, if this thing is good for me in my religion, my present and future life, then make it easy for me and bless it. But if it is evil for me, then take it away from me and keep me away from it, and decree for me what is best for me. And then, don't look for an immediate answer. Wait, observe, feel. How will Allah answer you? Many believe that istikhara manifests itself through a dream or sudden vision, but the reality is more subtle and deeper. Allah responds in several ways. It facilitates or complicates. If the relationship becomes fluid, if doors open effortlessly, this is a positive sign. But if everything becomes difficult, if obstacles appear again and again, then Allah shows you that this is not your path. He calms or disturbs your heart. April 19, 2020. You feel an inexplicable feeling of peace, or a weight that you cannot ignore. He distances or brings closer. Without you doing anything, you will see if this person stays in your life naturally, or if Allah takes them away without you understanding why. This is where your faith will be tested. Will you accept Allah's answer, or will you fight it because it is not what you wanted to hear? Let go and trust in Allah. Your vision is limited. You only see a fragment of your story. But Allah, He sees everything. He knows what is hidden. He knows the invisible. Don't force what is not meant for you. Do not resist what Allah takes away from you. If you want an answer, ask for it. But above all, be prepared to accept it. Trust Allah's plan. Everything has already been written. Before you even meet this person, before you even feel anything, before this doubt even arises in you, Allah already knew what was going to happen. Everything that survives in your life has a reason, a place, a meaning. Every encounter, every separation, every trial, every blessing. Everything is written in divine decree, and yet you struggle. You hang on. You try to understand, to control, to remember. But have you forgotten that you don't control anything? If Allah wants a person to stay in your life, no force on this earth will be able to keep him away. But if Allah wants to protect you from her, then nothing will be able to keep her by your side. No pleading, no attachment, no insistence can change what is not already decreed. Stop forcing what Allah does not bless. How many times have you wanted to force something that wasn't working? How many times have you turned a blind eye to the obvious signs, just because you didn't want to accept reality? Do not let your human attachment blind you to divine signs. Do not try to torment destiny so that it follows your desires. If Allah put this person in your life for a reason, He will stay there. If Allah wants to keep you away from it, nothing can change that. Your role is not to understand everything. Your role is to trust in the one who knows what is best for you. Listen, pray, and let Allah guide your heart. It is easy to get lost in emotions, in attachments, in illusions. But what is difficult is to submit completely to the will of Allah. If your heart is at peace, if this person brings you closer to your faith, if Allah places it in your path in a way that seems almost heavenly, so maybe He's sending you a message. But if everything seems uncertain, if your heart is heavy, if each step towards this person takes you a little further away from Allah, so ask yourself the only question that matters. Was it Allah who sent it to me, or was it my own desire which imposed it on me? The key, tawakkul, absolute trust in Allah. You can't see the future. You cannot anticipate what Allah has in store for you. But you can do one thing. Trust Him. And put your trust in Allah. Allah loves those who trust in Him. Everything that comes from Allah is good for you, even if you don't understand it yet. Everything He takes away from you is an evil that has been spared you, even if your heart regrets it today. Let go. Let Him write your story, and accept that what is truly meant for you will never fail you. Allah never leaves His servants without answers. He speaks to you. He guides you. He sends you signs. But it is up to you to see them and respond to them. If this person is good for you, then Allah will include him in your destiny one way or another. But if it is a trap or a test, then trust His plan and let Him protect you. Don't let your emotions cloud divine wisdom. Observe, listen, and above all, pray. Have you ever felt these signs in your heart? Share your experience in the comments. Your testimony could enlighten other brothers and sisters. What sign from Allah has impacted you the most in your life? Tell us in the comments, and let's see how many people have experienced these same signs. If this video brought you clarity, leave a like and share it with someone who might need it. Subscribe for more Islamic reminders and wisdom, and may we continue on this path of truth together. May Allah enlighten your heart and guide you towards the best.